This is News with the Disney Dude. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more content, and please hit that thumbs up if you like the video. Here now is the news for Friday, October 24th of 2025. I can't believe that we are almost out of October. It just seems this month and year have gone so fast. I don't know. It's just gone by so fast. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad construction walls have been moved forward at the Magic Kingdom. So they've now moved the construction walls up a little bit more to work on more of the queue and out of more of the outside of the more of the outside of the upper level. In case you don't know, the traction is actually on the bottom level. The attraction's on the second is on the first level of the Magic Kingdom. So you're entering from the top level, so you're on the second level of the Magic Kingdom. And then you have to go down to go to the train, to get to the load station. So you're going to the first floor of the Magic Kingdom. So, so that's that elevation change. Because it's I think it's sitting on top of a utilidor. So, that's why you have, you have to go down to reach the trains, and then go back up a little bit because it's on the first level of the park. So, but they are, they're moving pretty quick on this. We still don't have a date. We don't know when this is opening. Sometime next year. So we have no idea. Really no idea. If I had to guess, though, usually, not all the time, but usually Disney likes to get these things done before the summer breaks happen. So maybe June, July, somewhere around there. I don't know. Again, that's speculation. Don't listen to me. I'm just speculating, but sometime next year it'll be open. Sometime next year we're gonna get a brand new version of Big Thunder Mountain. Frontierland sign returns to the Magic Kingdom after 2 months with updated look. So you may remember that they took down one of the signs. They have since refurbished it, and it looks brand new. I haven't been there to see it, but I have seen it in the pictures, and it looks great. Looks refreshed. Looks great. Looks brand new. Disney has to keep these signs, looking their best because, they're out in the Florida elements 365 days a year. So, unless I assume they take them down for hurricanes, I have no idea. But they're exposed to the rain and the sun and all of the elements, 365 days a year. So, Disney has to keep, these signs looking fresh and just looking really good. So people know where they are. So again, the sign looks great. Great job, and it still it fits in Frontierland, which I'm always thrilled about. They didn't change the sign. It doesn't look like it belongs in Fantasyland or Adventureland or, Liberty Square. It's themed to Frontierland, which is great. Which is, the way you're supposed to go. Now on to some sad news. So there have now been 3 deaths this month that have been confirmed at the Walt Disney World Resort, confirmed by authorities. A couple of them have been suicides. I believe it was 2 of them jumped out. 2 guests, not at the same time, but at different times. Two guests jumped out of their hotel at Bay Lake Tower, and it's very, very sad, very, very sad. I hate reporting on stuff like this. This is really, really sad. If you are having a problem, please contact, please let, if you're with somebody, please let your family know, or, please let a psychiatrist know, or please let somebody know. So, either you or someone else can get you the help that you need. Okay? It's very, very sad. Very, very sad to see people taking their lives. It's sad enough as it is, and then when you have to say that they've taken their own life at a Disney resort, it's doubly sad. Doubly sad. So my heart goes out to their families, and it's just very, very sad. Very, very sad. So, I hope that the families get the help that they need. I really, really do. Construction permits have been filed for Storybook Circus tent at the Magic Kingdom. This construction permit is just for general maintenance. They are redoing the tents. They're, Florida, 365 days a year. They're exposed to the elements, the sun, the wind, the rain. So, again, it's very, very important that you keep these things looking fresh and clean and up to date, because every day is someone's first day here at Walt Disney World or all the other theme parks, Universal, SeaWorld. Every day is someone's first day. So, you need to keep these things looking fresh and healthy looking and clean. So, people aren't, walking around going, well, that looks bad. I don't know if I want to go in there. That looks kind of run down and beat up. So, kudos to them. Kudos to them for, fixing stuff like this. The rides are a different story. They need to really need to work on the rides, because the rides are looking kind of abysmal. But, I am glad that they are taking initiative to this outdoor stuff. I just hope that sometime down the road that, that Disney maintenance will look at the rides. Will look at the rides and give them the attention that they need. Because they're starting to look run down. They're starting to look run down again. So, so I really hope that, Disney maintenance, does that in the not too distant future. But, I think that this is a nice first step. A nice first step. Construction walls have been removed from Critter Co-op in the Magic Kingdom. More of the new flooring has been revealed. I haven't been in the store to see the new flooring, so I again, I have seen pictures of it. I don't know. I mean, I'll have to look at it in person to see if this really kind of fits into the theme, because if anything, if we've learned anything, Disney has basically ruined the Emporium. they have ripped out the theme of the Emporium. Okay, it is. The Emporium looks, it just looks bleh. It looks blah. It's white tile. It's just not great. It's not great. It's not themed. It just looks bleh. So, so I really hope that Critter Co-op looks a lot better and a lot different than the Emporium does, because that Emporium, the interior of the Emporium leaves a lot to be desired. I hate it. I really don't like it. I'm sure someone in here is gonna be like, well, it doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter. It does matter. I really hate to break this to you, but this is a theme park. Okay? A theme park. Things need to be themed. Alright? And if they're not going to theme stuff, then, then why? Why? I have no idea. Maybe it's a money thing. I have no idea. But, losing theme to any of these buildings or these hotels is just gut-wrenching. So it's just like, why? Why? I have no, why? You spent all that time and money building these places, theming them to, to no avail. And now you're basically just ripping it all out and saying, that doesn't fit anymore. People don't care. That's fine. We're going to modernize this. It's the same way with the Fort Wilderness Campground cabins. It's like those look terrible. Those look awful. They're shipping containers. They're just sitting there and they just look terrible. They look awful. But I mean, again, I'm sure people are going to be like, it doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter. It does matter. Okay, that's the hill. That's one of the hills I will die on. Is theme theme does matter. It does matter. So if you're gonna fight me on theme in a theme park, you need to get your priorities straight. Because again, they spent all this time and money in the 70s getting these places, theming them and making sure they fit in the time period. And now they're just ripping them out and making it modern. I don't want modern. Okay? Modern structure does not fit at Fort Wilderness. Modern structure does not fit in the Emporium. Okay? So, and again, I hope that's not what they're doing at Critter Co-op, because modernizing the Critter Co-op building, it wouldn't fit in Frontierland. That would just look really odd. It would look off and weird, and it's just bleh, bleh. All right, so, but that's where I was going with this rant. Is I really hope that they keep things in theme, in character, because if they don't, we need to go after them. We need to go after Disney and saying, shame on you. That looks like garbage. That is not themed. How dare you? How dare you? All right, so. That's one of the hills I will die on. And if people want to fight me over it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I'm always going to defend theme. I'm always going to defend theming in a theme park. Okay? Jack Skellington Popcorn Bucket and the Mayor Sipper is coming to Jollywood Nights. So if you didn't get the Jack Skellington Popcorn Bucket at the Halloween party, you can pick it up at Jollywood Nights. I've already picked up my Jack Skellington Popcorn Bucket. I need to buy the Mayor Sipper, so that's what I'm going to be buying. Now, is there going to be another popcorn bucket there? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe I'll have to buy a popcorn bucket. I don't know. So, but you know, just to let you know that if you are attending this year's Jollywood Nights, you can pick up both the Jack Skellington Popcorn Bucket and the Mayor Sipper at Disney's Hollywood Studios during Jollywood Nights. In case you don't know what Jollywood Nights is, it's the after-hours Christmas event at Disney's Hollywood Studios. My favorite. I think it's a way better event than Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, for being honest. But that's what Jollywood Nights is. It's Hollywood Studios' version of a Christmas party. All right, this next story is gonna kill me inside. Yes, again, I'm gonna report on it. Muppet Vision 3D wait time and Lightning Lane signs have been removed. So, unfortunately they're gone. You know, the remnants of that once great attraction is gone, and another remnant of that once great attraction is gone. You know, last time we reported that the marquee was covered up, so they're covering, you know, I assume that marquee is staying. They're just going to change the actual, they're probably going to paint the marquee and then change the letters to that Monsters, Inc. show, which we still have no idea what it's about. So, you know, hello. Okay? I don't know why Disney is afraid to announce anything at this point, because we know we're getting Monstropolis. We know we're getting the Monsters, Inc. door coaster. Okay? Why are you refusing to tell us what's replacing Muppet Vision 3D? Why are you afraid of telling us that? If you believe in your project, tell us. Tell us what is replacing Muppet Vision 3D. Okay? Honestly, I don't really know if Disney even believes in this project, because they didn't announce it at they announced it at D23, but they didn't announce what it was replacing, because they knew that if they were going to announce it, that this was replacing Muppet Vision 3D, Josh D'Amaro would have been booed off that stage faster than Bob Chapek. All right, so they didn't have the guts to announce it at D23, and they still don't have the guts to tell us what's replacing Muppet Vision 3D. So I don't know what the hell they're waiting on, but again, if you believe in your project, then tell us. Tell us what's going on, all right? Instead of just remaining quiet and sheepishly about it, all right? So, does Disney believe in this project? I sure as hell hope so. But they must not if they're still refusing to tell us what's replacing Muppet Vision 3D. All we know is it's a Monsters, Inc. stage show. Monsters, Inc. stage show. That's it. No other details have been announced. We know more about the door coaster. We know more about that than what's going on with the Grand Arts Theater. All right. So if that should tell you something, that's Disney's way of backing out and saying, we're too scared. We're too scared of, of what we're telling, we're too scared of saying what's replacing Muppet Vision 3D. Because they already know that they've screwed up. They already know that they have screwed up. They have absolutely screwed up. They know. They know. Okay? Because they've heard it from us. They've heard it from other fans. They've heard it from WDW News Today. They've heard it from a lot of people. A lot of people. They know that they have screwed up. They know that they screwed up. So, I just don't know if they're embarrassed about it now, or if they just... And maybe I'm reading too much into this. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know about what's going to replace Muppet Vision 3D. Maybe they don't know. I don't know. But the fact that they ripped out Muppet Vision 3D without even thinking about what's going back into that theater is asinine. It is totally asinine. So, come on, Disney. Come on. If you're not going to tell us what's replacing Muppet Vision in that theater, then that's a big shame. That is a huge shame on you. Huge, huge shame on you. Universal U.S. theme park attendance drops in 2024 while Disney sees modest growth. Are we really surprised at this? Are we really surprised at this? So, Universal opened up their new theme park, Epic Universe. It has been a disaster. It has been a disaster. Okay? They clearly had no idea what they were doing with capacity. They had no idea. No idea. I cannot tell you how many comments I read online on the Facebook page of people saying that they've had a terrible time, the park is overcrowded, there's not a lot to do, the rides keep going down. So, I was not surprised at this story. I really was not surprised at this story. Okay? So, people, always say, well, that's because you hate Universal. I don't hate Universal. Okay? There are shining moments. Okay? There are shining moments in Epic Universe that's great. They almost crossed that finish line. They could have taken the crown away from Disney. They absolutely could. But the rug was pulled out from under them from management. Okay? It was budget cut. The park wasn't allowed to be the end-all be-all. It just wasn't. It was not. All right? It could have been. It could have been the greatest theme park in Orlando. It could have been better than Disney. It just wasn't. It wasn't. It just wasn't allowed to be. It wasn't allowed to be. Now there's, shining moments, lands like Super Nintendo World, Darkmoor, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. Those three portals are great, and then they just kind of, the rug was ripped out from under them with the Isle of Berk. Okay? That land is not great. That land is not great. There's a ton of sightline issues. It's, Hiccups Wing Gliders I will say it's a better coaster than Slinky Dog Dash, but it still has a ton of sightline issues. A ton. Okay? So it's, it's the park overall as a whole is not, it's just not working for people. It's not working for people, Now, obviously, this is going to vary because, a lot of people say it's, it's the best theme park ever. A lot of people are like, well, that's not great. Okay? And it's a capacity problem. It absolutely is a capacity problem. They did not think to build enough indoor attractions in this theme park. They were like, it's fine. It's okay. We're just going to build a bunch of roller coasters, and that's fine. They didn't think about, oh, this is Florida. It rains 6 months out of the year. Especially, in, August, September, October, this is when we get, this is when hurricane season really kind of ramps up. So that's where Disney excels, because they built a ton of indoor stuff to do. Okay? And Universal just doesn't do that. They just don't do that. I don't know why they don't do it, but they just don't. They're like, people don't want indoor dark rides anymore. They want outside roller coasters that, go fast and, and that sounds great on paper, but overall as a theme park, that's not good for capacity. That is not good. That is poor, very poor capacity. Okay? Roller coasters only seat 2 people per row. Okay? And they have usually I don't know. I don't know, what is it, 12 rows, maybe? I don't know. But that's not big capacity. That's really not. Okay? The dark rides hold a lot more people if you build them correctly. They hold a lot more people than roller coasters ever do. And I understand. People love roller coasters, okay? I don't really care for them, but, there's, some that I love, but, I don't, a lot of roller coasters that go upside down or anything, I don't do. But that's the problem, is capacity. It's 2 people per row, 12 to, 14 rows in, on the train, on the coaster. And so it's not good. The capacity is not great. So that's why the dark rides have to have a better capacity. All right. And I wished that Epic Universe would have learned that, because had they, it would have been better for everybody. It really would have been, because you would have had a lot more capacity. Because even the dark rides don't hold a lot of people. You know what? There's one ride in that park that excels at capacity, and that is Monsters Unchained. That ride, if that ride is at a 45, 50-minute wait, then that means that the park is really busy, okay? And that a lot of rides are down. That ride is very quick. Loading people really fast, huge capacity. They excelled at that. Why couldn't have you done that with Super Mario Kart, or Yoshi, or or any of the others? You have one ride in that park that is big capacity. The rest, what is there? 11. What did I say? There's 11 rides in that park. I think there's 11 rides in that park. One of which has really good capacity. And that's not great. That is not great. People are going to that theme park and they're like, this is not great. This is not everything people said it would be. It's, the lines are so long that you can only ride 1 or 2 attractions a day. Even with the fast passes. Okay, even with the fast passes, the lines are really crazy, really busy, and that's shame on Universal. Shame on Universal for doing that. So I am not surprised. I am really not surprised that Disney has seen more modest growth than Universal. And I know people are going to come into the comments and they're going to fight me. And they're going to be like, Epic Universe is the best thing ever. And it's not. It is not. It has its moments. It absolutely has its moments. But I'm sorry, people. I am really sorry to tell you, but Disney excels at capacity a whole lot better than Universal does. A whole lot better. And if you want to fight me on that, then again, you need to do your research. Do your research. Because, Disney builds, a lot of, whether they're good rides or not, we can have that discussion, okay? But they build a lot of indoor rides, okay? Because they know this is Florida. These theme parks are really busy because it's, more and more, because these parks have, Walt Disney World, Universal, they have more tourists than annual pass holders, okay? That's just the way it is. So you have to build rides that have capacity. And that's what Disney does. That's exactly what Disney does. Couple of things, but for the most part, Disney excels at capacity. A whole lot better than Universal does. Universal just doesn't get it. They just don't get it. I don't know why they don't get it, but they just don't get it. They just don't seem to understand that, capacity is a big deal. So I am not surprised. I am really not surprised that, Disney has more growth than Universal. I am not surprised. Okay? Now, if Epic Universe had been better, and they built a lot more stuff to do, and if the shoe was on the other foot and said that, Universal was growing more than Disney, then I would be sitting here having a different conversation. But it just wasn't. It wasn't allowed to be. It wasn't allowed to be. Universal just doesn't understand that they have to build things for capacity. Because these parks are, it's not just Disney. People don't come to Florida just for Disney. They come to Florida for Disney, for Universal, for SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, and then, all the other things. They come to, although, Walt Disney World's not in Orlando, but they come to Orlando for the theme parks, okay? So, right off the bat, that, these theme parks are very busy. Very, very busy. So, you have to build rides that have really good capacity. So, and if you don't, then that's just poor insight. That is very, very poor insight. So I am not surprised. I am not shocked at this. I am not shocked at this story. And if anyone else is, then I don't know where you have been. But, and I really want Universal to succeed. I really do. But they always come up short. They always come up short. They don't get it. They just don't get it. They get so close to the finish line, and then they trip over their own shoes before they get there. At least Disney gets to that finish line. Okay? Universal, 9 times out of 10, Disney gets to that finish line. Okay? Universal it doesn't. They just don't get to that finish line. They really, really don't. I'm sorry to be that guy. Okay? They just don't. Alright? And the last story is the Monsters Inc. door coaster show building outline has been revealed in a new Central Florida Tourism Oversight District filing. So, this show building is actually a new structure, and it's all the way in the back. So, previously, if you ever came out of Muppet Vision 3D and you turned to your right, and you saw that gate there, that is going to be opened up now, and then that's where the door coaster is going to be, because behind that area is, cast parking and other areas. So they're making the cast members park somewhere else, and that's where the door coaster show building is going to go. So they're going to open up that area and create more, I'm going to go back to saying it, more capacity. Because, Disney's Hollywood Studios needs it. It does need capacity, okay? I think Disney's Hollywood Studios is really the one Disney theme park where it struggles. It struggles. Because, again, this was not built to be a theme park, okay? This was not built, Hollywood Studios was not built to be a full-day theme park, okay? It was half theme park, half movie-making studio. And then that changed over the years, and now there's only 9 rides in the park, okay? So, but again, though, I will say that even though Hollywood Studios only has 9 rides in the park, there's still a lot more inside stuff to do, okay? So you have, The Little Mermaid, A Musical Adventure. You'll soon have that new Disney Junior show. You'll soon have the new animation building. You have Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. You have Star Tours. You have Rise of the Resistance. You have the Millennium Falcon. You have the Tower of Terror. You have the Disney Villain Show. You have Rock and Roller Coaster. You have indoor things to do. So it's not just all outside, very little capacity. So, even though that Hollywood Studios is the smallest theme park with only 9 rides in the park, they understand that if something closes, they need something else opened. When they decided to close Muppet Vision 3D, they were like, hey, we need something else to, people are going to need some other things to do, which is why they had to open The Little Mermaid and the new Disney Villain Show pretty quick, because they were like, Muppet Vision's going to cut down on capacity, so we need, people are going to need more things to do. So, again, going back to that whole capacity thing, they're very, very smart, and, Disney is, not all the time, but Disney usually is pretty smart about capacity. And I'm sorry, but Universal is not. They just, no, they don't get it. All right. But, let me know how you feel. I'm sure some Universal fans are going to be like, that's because you just hate Universal. No, I don't. I don't hate Universal. I don't hate those theme parks. Okay? Could they be better? Yeah, absolutely. Okay? There's things that I love in those theme parks, and there's things that I don't like about the theme parks. And it's the same thing with Disney. Okay? There's some things that I, love in those theme parks, some things that I don't love in those theme parks. All right? So, when Universal does a good job, I'll be the first to say that. But they just don't get it. But Universal's they just don't get it. They don't understand. They don't get it. So, but there you are. There's your news for this week. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to my channel for more content. I thank you guys very much for watching this video. I'm going to go to Epcot tomorrow because I have to film Spaceship Earth, which is, they didn't really do anything to that ride. But the animatronics are refreshed. Everything looks, they said that everything looks newer and better, so we'll see. We will see when I go there and film the ride. So, But I will be vlogging from Epcot tomorrow. So if you want to watch that, you can tune in tomorrow. And I'm going to ride Spaceship Earth and do a couple other things, visit some festival booths and whatnot. So I will be live for all of that. Spaceship Earth, I won't be live because I'm going to film it, and then that'll be that. And then the rest of the time I will be live. So I hope to see you tomorrow on my Epcot journey. But again, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to my channel. I thank you guys very much for watching this video. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Please keep each other safe and healthy. All right, and remember that tomorrow is just a dream away.